Welcome back to the Catnip Podcast. My name is Grace and today is Tuesday, July 31st. It's the last day of July. How crazy is that? This is a podcast about knitting and books and baking and cats, but more specifically knitting because that is what I love to do the most. This is the second week on the new recording schedule of me recording on Tuesday and the podcast going up on Wednesday. I do apologize if you were looking for an episode from me last week on Saturday and there was none because it went up on Wednesday. But so that is a thing that is happening now. That is my plan for the future unless something changes or whatever. So you can keep an eye out for my episodes on Wednesday now instead of Saturday. And like always, of course, you can find all the various links to social medias that I have. I'm most active on Instagram, but there's Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and Ravelry. You can go and follow me over there. And then also, like always, you can find links to things that I talk about. They'll be in the show notes. If you are on YouTube, the link to my blog will be down below, or if you're on my blog, everything will be down below. So there you go. I have a lot of knitting to share with you guys this week. I have some new stuff to show you. I have some old stuff to show you, and some kind of like in between, kind of new, kind of old, relatively new things to show you, knitting wise. I also have a book to share with you, and I also have a recipe that I have not made yet, but I'm gonna hopefully make tonight or this afternoon, hopefully. So we have a lot to talk about. So if you would like to grab something tasty to drink today, I have tea because it's raining outside and I really just like to pretend that it's cold outside even though I know it's not cold. But if it looks cold outside, like it could be potentially like gloomy and cold and rainy, even though it's hot and humid and rainy. And then I can have a hot drink and there's fans on, it's cool inside, it's dark. It just seems like it's cold outside. So anyway, that's why I have tea to help with my mental, it's cold, you'll be fine, just wait a couple more months and the heat will go away mindset. So if you would like to grab something tasty to drink or to snack upon or to craft upon or whatever floats your boat, and you can come back and join me for some crafty chat. So, also, I have a new bag. I'm very excited about this. If you were unaware or if you have not seen the past couple of episodes, I currently work at the Modern Skein, which is a yarn store in Montgomery, Texas. It is wonderful. If you are in the area, you should definitely check us out. I am teaching classes and will be teaching more classes in the future, and I also work there currently part-time, so that is very exciting. But anyway, we got some bags in recently. We got the Knitter's Backpack from Ritual Dye Works, and I am so excited because I've seen these all over Instagram and I really, really wanted one. But it's just so easy. It makes it really easy when the store that you work at gets them in, because then you don't have to worry about ordering one, finding out where you're going to order it from. Do they have them? Do they have the color you want? This happened to be the color that I wanted, and we got them in last week on Saturday. Yes, on Saturday. They came in on Saturday. Or maybe they came in on Friday night and we put them up on Saturday. And so I have a brown one now and I love it so much. It holds so much. I was able to throw all of my stuff that I'm going to talk about in today in this bag, which granted it does look massive. And I was able to bring it all in here, which is, I think that's a sign of a good bag. This will also be my fall purse. So that's also a plus. If you have a problem justifying the cost of this bag, because it is a little bit more expensive, you can use it as a fall purse, which is what I'm going to do, which makes the price a little bit more okay. You're going to get more use out of it. I would get a lot of use out of this anyway, but ooh, we have some thunder. That's nice. It's been a while since we've had thunder in a podcast. Anyway, so I just really love it. You can carry it like a bag. You can wear it as a backpack. You can also just carry this like a bag over your shoulder. There's just a lot of opportunities to use it. Also, I haven't put pins on it, but that is what I'm gonna do because it's the perfect bag for pins. Except I do have to be aware of like which pins I want to put on here because I do want to distribute the pins nicely. So my overalls have pins, and my Fringe field bag has pins, and then also this bag has pins. Maybe that's a sign I need more pins, which would not be a problem. I have a Pinterest board completely dedicated to enamel pins, so I know places to get more. Also, we have more at the shop, so that's also nice. I might have to get some of those because why not? Anyway, so let's talk about some knitting now that I've showed you the bag that is holding everything. This is my test knit for Caitlin Hunter. It was designed by Caitlin Hunter, and it was in collaboration with Yarn on the House, of the House. It's either on or of. Yoff. So that is super exciting. I'm really loving it. I am so close to being done. I don't remember where I was last week, but I've made a lot of progress. I have finished one sleeve, which also included some color work at the bottom, and I am just about maybe an hour and a half's worth of work left on the second sleeve. And then I also have the neckline to do. And then I'll be done. And I can block it and wear it, and or maybe not wear it quite yet, but it's close. So there's the bottom. This gorgeous color work, which is absolutely stunning. It's showing up very accurately currently, I think. It's better back there. So it's very dark maroony. The contrasting color is called Doeskin Heather. I'm using Cascade 220 fingering, which is turning out to be a very delightful yarn. I will definitely be knitting with this again. This is my first time to knit with it. I've knit with just regular 220, but I have never knit with the fingering version. So here's what the first sleeves look like. It's a drop shoulder, so that's super fun. Why is it blowing out so much? There we go. There's a sleeve. There's the first sleeve. Here's my second sleeve. I'm a double pointed needles person. I actually tried to do magic loop with this because I only had circular needles at the time, and I really just wanted to knit on the sleeve, but the circumference was too small, and I didn't know where my DPNs were, and so that was a problem. So I was like, okay, well, I guess I could just try doing magic loop. I tried it before, but it's been a long time and I didn't really like it then, so I was like, I'll give it another shot. I still don't like it. I did try. I did knit a couple rows, and I did it correctly, and I know that I'm not liking it because I'm doing it incorrectly, and therefore don't know that I actually like it. I do know I don't like it. This is personal preference. If you are a magic looper, more power to you. That's wonderful. I wish I did like it because I feel like that would be just super easy. But you can't go wrong. For me, I can trust my DPN abilities. If I'm knitting a sleeve though, my like the dream scenario is to have circular needles for sure, because one of my biggest pet peeves in knitting, and double pointed needles at least, is when you have the ladders. I hate those so much. And if you have no idea what a ladder is, I don't think I can really show you, thankfully, because I have mastered the art of preventing ladders. But it's when, so the space between the two needles, if you knit it loosely enough, then the stitches won't be tight together, and you will create like a little ladder that you can see, and then people will know that you knit your sleeves on DPNs and you didn't knit it tightly enough. A lot of my beginning DPN projects have ladders, and I did not like them, and so I was like, I'm gonna get good at this so I don't have ladders. And I have a text message. And so when I say it's my biggest pet peeve, it's my biggest pet peeve in regards to my knitting. It's just like, are you serious? Are you not knitting correctly so you have ladders between your DPNs? Who are you? How long have you been knitting? You should be better than this. But it's a learning thing. You have to go through it in order to know how you yourself can fix it, because everyone fixes it differently. You knit, in general, you just knit more tightly, but it's not always fixed the same way, I guess. You have to figure out how tight is tight enough for you. I feel like I'm just rambling at this point. But point is, I'm knitting my sleeves on DPNs. Again, I wish I had the circulars, because I prefer knitting, especially colorwork, on circulars, but you do what you gotta do. It's really not that bad, it's just my personal preference. So, I'm very excited. I'm to the colorwork on this sleeve. I obviously haven't started it yet, but I'm going to tonight, because due dates. And then I have the neckline, and then I get to block it. Oh, this is blown out. So that is super exciting. I am really, really excited to see how it blocks out. It is, I've tried it on several times, and it's cute the way it is now, but I know that blocking will make it even cuter and more wearable. Because currently, I like the length that it is currently, but also we have the issue of the hem flipping up, so that's a problem. But also, I think I might like it a little bit longer. Not from, I don't think I would have knit it to be any longer, but I know that with blocking it will grow and it will be able to flow better. Hang better? I think hang is the correct word. It'll lay better, and I think it'll be much more cute. Again, not that it's not cute now, because it is. And I'm very excited with how it's turning out. So this is, again, a test knit, so the pattern is not out yet, but I will keep you guys updated when the pattern comes out, and I will let you guys know. So happy days are here again, making good progress. All good things, all good things. So secondly is my second test knit, which is very exciting. I showed the beginnings of it to you guys last week, and there was not very much, maybe a couple rows of ribbing, not a whole lot to show you. But since then, I've made a lot of progress. I'm super happy with how this is turning out. So this is a test knit. It's going to be a cabled pullover or jumper. I'm just going to say jumper because I like that word better than sweater. Don't judge me. I may live in America, but I do like calling them jumpers. Anyway, so this is a cable jumper. This is a test knit for her Instagram and Ravelry name is Flossy Knits, but her name is Claire, so that is super exciting. I am using the Knit Picks Wool of the Andes Sport in the current colorway, which looks like this. And that's actually pretty accurate. Oh wait, hold on. If we hold the white with it, that actually helps. Oh, interesting. This is pretty accurate. It's a little bit more purple. Oh, there we go. Very interesting. I don't know why that is, but who knows. I'm sure there's camera reasons that I don't understand. This is very accurate. It's gorgeous. It's maroon. It's, you just can't go wrong with maroon. I will show you this, what I have so far, and then I will tell you a funny story. So, here's what I have so far. This is the cable detail. This is the color. This is what it looks like. Let me see if I can get this up close. There we go. That's pretty good. The color's not correct. Obviously, I'm very blown out. But this is what the cables look like. So it's super easy. It's very quick and easy to knit. It's very easy to memorize. I'm cabling without a cable needle. I now have fuzz in my mouth. Let me fix that. So this is super exciting. I am really, really loving this. I knit most of this in an afternoon, which is a good sign because it goes quickly, and I know that I will make good and quick progress on this at work, because this is a good project to work on at work. Words, lots of words. So my funny story, or I think this was very cute. So at the yarn store we have various times that you can come, and we have a little sit and stitch time on Friday afternoons and Saturday mornings, and then occasionally, currently once a month on Thursdays, we have them on Thursday evening, but that's not a forever thing. So anyway, I forget what day it was. I think it was Friday afternoon. So the regular group of ladies were there, and we were just all chatting and knitting away, and I had pulled out both of my test knits, which are obviously both maroon, and the lady I was sitting across from was she saw both the things, and she asked me if I was an Aggie because both my things were maroon. both my projects were maroon. I was like, yes, that makes sense. Good eye, good eye. But I thought that was very funny, and I thought that was a very sweet thing to ask based off of the color of my projects. So it just, yes, I am an Aggie through and through, and I love maroon. And it all works out, so it's all good. So next up is new cast on. I'm very excited about this. I could not help myself, and something about me, something inside of me was just kind of like, you should get the yarn, and you can do it in steps. So you have these 2 test knits that you need to be working on, obviously. You get the yarn, work on the test knit. Find the needles, work on the test knit. Knit a swatch, work on the test knit. And so on and so forth. And so I didn't wind up all the colors right away because there are stripes and all that kind of stuff. So that would like force me to stop working on it and go work on something else, mainly a test knit at that point. So let me lean down here. This is the pattern, and I can't show it to you. I don't think there's anything on here that would not work. Not be a problem. So I'm knitting the Martimo sweater by Caitlin Hunter. It's her new pattern, and if you get the pattern, you have this very lovely sketched girl, and I got really excited because I have started writing all my notes on these printed out patterns. I haven't done that recently, but I really enjoyed that with my popcorn bomber, being able to write on my pattern, and also just working at the shop. It's much easier than having to constantly open my iPad or constantly open my phone, because obviously people are in the store and it's just easier to read from paper. Anyway, I got really excited and colored in my little sketched girl to be kind of like me and the version that I was going to be doing. So I thought that was fun. Fun fact about me, I colored in on my pattern, and I thought it was very fun. So anyway, let me show you what I'm working on. My yarn is everywhere. Let's move these out of the way because I'm not talking about that anymore. Boop, bye-bye. Oh, the woes of podcasting. Okie dokie. Oh, let's wind this one up because that would be useful. Because you don't need any more threads flowing around that are not, if you don't need them, that way they don't get tangled. Okay. There's ends everywhere. Okay, this also has a funny story with it. It's kind of like a tale of woe. A knitting tale of woe. I have another one. In the end, it was all fine. As all knitting tales of woe are, hopefully. But yes, where shall we begin? I don't know. Here's what I have so far. Clearly, I fixed my tale of woe. This is the bottom, and it's we have the contrasting color 1, or number 2, contrasting color 2, contrasting color 1, and then I'll do that, and then I'll do this stripe segment another time. This is super exciting. This is Feather and Fan. And so the brown color is Stash, and this is Malabrigo Sock in the chocolate something colorway. I don't remember what the chocolate something is, but it's chocolate something. So that's super exciting. This is old, ooh, that's very accurate. This is old Stash, which is really nice. I was talking about this with Sharon, the owner of A Modern Skein, and we were laughing about the fact that I was feeling okay about casting this brand new sweater on and getting yarn for it because I got 3 new skeins and then used a skein of Stash to make this sweater. So I'm knitting from my stash, and I'm also like, the new yarn hasn't really had time to sit in my stash, so I feel better about that. Does that make sense? But the fact that I was using a really old skein of Stash for like a good part of this was really good. Also, my mom is making one very similar. She has a different main color, but it's very similar to the one that I have. But she's also using, I split this skein up, so she has half of this one. And then the red color, which is just absolutely gorgeous, is this, which is Hedgehog Fibers Sock in the pheasant colorway. And look at that beautifulness. How gorgeous is that? It's showing up a little bit more pinky on camera, but in person it's a little bit more browny and darker. That's more accurate. Anyway, I think this will look gorgeous. I'm super excited with it. We think that this color combination looks like chocolate covered cherries, which I think is super fun, and I love that. I'm also using a stitch marker that I got from the Houston Fiber Festival, which is this little donut, oops, which I believe is from Itty Bitty Delights. I will link that in the show notes. So this is the bottom of it, and then my main color will be this, which is showing more blue on the camera, but it's a little bit, it's like a gray with brown undertones. So the whole brown vibe is just really pretty, and it's absolutely gorgeous, and I love it, and I'm just super excited to wear it. So I'm taking this in steps because I know this is a treat and I want to enjoy it, and if I continue to take turns with my test knits, whatever, test knitting projects, and working on this or any other kind of like me project, I will feel better about myself and I'll probably get more done that way. So I'm really liking how this is going. This is also Malabrigo Sock in the pearl colorway. There's that. So if you have a hankering for Martimo or colors that are like this, you can go onto A Modern Skein's website and see what we have available, because we have put together kits or just color ideas that are on the shop's Instagram, so you can go and check those out. That will be linked in the show notes. But I got the gray, I have 2 skeins of this, and then I also got the pheasant from the store. And then obviously the chocolate was my stash. So it worked out really well. I have gotten to a point where I have to wind this up, and so I am preventing myself from winding this up. I'm going to do this at work tomorrow when I go in, or work today when you're seeing this, if you're watching this on a Wednesday. And then I will knit on it and get some more progress on it while also working on my test knits, because that's important. But anyway, so I mentioned that I had a tale of woe with this. Let me tell you. Where to begin? Also what to hold. I don't need that anymore, so I'm just gonna put that down. I need a drink of tea first. This is gonna be not a long story, but it definitely is not a short story. So in general, for whatever reason, I just really struggle with the feather and fan stitch. I don't know why. It's just me. It has nothing to do with the pattern, obviously, because it's one of the more easier ones, and I know that everyone does it all the time without a problem, no issues whatsoever. But for some reason, especially when I have a larger cast on, especially when you're knitting like the entire body of a sweater, this starts from the bottom, so there's a significant amount of stitches. I am most likely to mess up one of the counts and throw the whole thing off and keep on going, just assuming that it's gonna work itself out, because it's kind of odd how it lines up sometimes, because not all the decreases line up. The 3 decreases don't always line up with the 3 decreases, or that's not how it's supposed to go, and so it's just hard for me to get the good foundation going. Once I get it going, I'm super cool. I can totally do it. I cast it on. I cast on the Martimo on Friday. Yes, on Friday night. And I had done the swatch on Friday afternoon at work. Knit on the test knit, cast on, all that jazz. Super good. Knit a couple rows, follow the pattern, all that jazz. I didn't take my sip of tea. I'm sorry. Not that it matters to you. You're not the one drinking my tea. So I was like, okay, there's both written and charted instructions. I'm fine with either one. I know I will do fine with either one, so I'll just stick with the written instructions, which are right here, so I don't have to switch to a different page, which is dumb because it really doesn't matter. But anyway, I just decided to go with the written instructions. Yay, yay, yay. Good decisions right there. So I did the first row, no big deal. I knew that I had trouble with feather and fan, so I was like, okay, I'm not gonna mess this up because I have a poop ton of stitches and I don't want to have to tink this row back or the previous 2 rows back or whatever. So I said to myself while I was working, and nobody would, well, even when people were there, I was speaking out loud to myself, okay, the slip knit, you do that 3 times. Yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, all that jazz. I did that around. I didn't mess up. I even went back and I checked that I had gotten everything like not incorrectly, that I had gotten everything correct and I didn't mess up on missing a yarn over or whatever, based off of the instructions that I had read. And I was like, okay, super cool. I can move on and I think it'll be fine. I think I haven't messed it up this time. So I then did the next row of the pattern, and at the time I did not know this, but I then later found out that I had, in moving on to the next row of feather and fan, I had also messed up the pattern, but that was not the point. That was not my issue. So I did the next row, was about to start the next row of feather and fan, and I had put markers for every section because I was like, you know, this might help. If I have markers, it'll be super easy. I had put them in before. So I started and things weren't lining up. And I was like, dang it, what did I do? Because I had gone through that previous row twice. One time knitting and saying everything out loud. The second time I wasn't knitting and I was counting and I was looking and I was like, okay, I got the 3 decreases there and I got all the yarn overs and knit ones and all that jazz, and I got the other 3 decreases and I started over. Within the little markers. And I was like, I have no idea what's going on. And so I was like, okay, well, I haven't knit this in a while, so maybe if I just keep on doing it, it will line up. Because it's hard for me. I don't know why. I just struggle with it. Even people who've been knitting for a long time still struggle with the simplest things with knitting. So if you are one of those people, you are not alone. If you have been knitting for a long time and you struggle with feather and fan, I'm in the same boat as you. I don't know why it is, but I just really have a hard time. So I was like, okay, well, I'll just keep on knitting in the pattern. An entire row of this poop ton of stitches for the bottom of this sweater. It got so messed up in regards to lining up with things. The decreases were over the yarn overs, and at that point I was like, okay, this is not gonna work. Something is really messed up here. I have no idea what it is, but something is really messed up, and I don't know what it is, and this is really frustrating because at that point I had been knitting on it for maybe almost 2 hours because people have been coming in and all that kind of stuff. So I hadn't been working on it like consistently, but I had been working on it for a while because also casting on is a long time, and just it's a poop ton of stitches because you're knitting the entire circumference of the body. And I have all my stitches on a 24-inch needle, which is fine, but it's just kind of frustrating because it's all squishied up there. But it's what I had, so that's what you gotta do. And so I was like, okay, well, clearly this second row of lace work did not work. So I will tink back this one row. I'll tink back the one row I did before, and I'll tink back the first row of feather and fan that I did. And then I'll just start over. Because something must have happened. I must have miscalculated, or I must have said something wrong, and I just didn't check it, or I didn't see it. I didn't catch it in time. That took a really long time. And that was very frustrating. So I did that, and then I started over. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I'm doing the exact same thing that I did before. And hopefully it'll work out. I got to the same point that I had before I tinked it all back, and it didn't work. And I was very frustrated. I was so frustrated with myself. Yeah, I can't even begin to express to you how frustrated I was. Because I was like, it was kind of quiet. I mean, there were a lot of people that came in that day, but it was also quiet enough that I was hoping to get a lot of knitting done, especially on something that I was super excited about. I had told myself that I could like work on it because I had this big section of this new color, and I was like, you can work on it and it's totally fine, don't worry about your test knits, you're ahead anyway. I was so excited. And also it was Friday, or no, it was Saturday, and it was my husband's birthday, and so we were going to celebrate with his family, and I was just like, yay, I'm working on something new, this is so exciting, why is this not working out? And so the second time around where it was not working, I got really frustrated and just took it all off the needles, and discovered that I had picked the right size, so that was good because it was definitely the width that I was wanting. That's good. And I ripped it all back because I wasn't gonna tink back, and I put it all on the needles, did it again, knit a row, did the first row of feather fan, then I knit a row, then I started on the second one, second row of feather and fan, and everyone, it still wasn't working. And I was like, I literally have no idea what I'm doing wrong. I have no absolute clue what I'm doing wrong, because I'm saying things like I'm reading out the pattern as I'm doing it. There's no way that I could be messing up. The first row, obviously I have nothing to line it up with, but my stitch count was right because it was always ending up exactly the way it was. I always had the 3 decreases at the end. And I was like, I have no idea what could be the problem. I don't know. I don't know how I can find out what I'm doing wrong. And so I then went to the internet and I was like, does anybody else have these problems with feather and fan? Like, am I the only one who just can't seem to get it right? And I read somewhere that you need to make sure, obviously, that you have the same amount of yarn overs as decreases. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I see that there's not quite, there was, in the written instructions and the charted instructions were written differently, obviously, because that's how charted instructions and written instructions work. They're just different. And so I did some counting, and I was like, well, I see that there's 6 yarn overs there, but why is there 5 in the written instructions? And then I realized I had completely glazed over the fact that there was an extra yarn over written into the written instructions. And because it was not part of like the regular repeat of the knit 1 yarn over, I didn't even see it. And that's my fault. That was totally my fault that I just glazed over that and was just like, okay, I see these repeats, decrease, repeats, yarn overs, knit 1s, and then repeat decreases. And so by that time, it was around 4. And the shop closes at 5, and I had gotten there at 10. And granted, I hadn't been working on it the entire time, but yeah, you can imagine it was kind of a hard moment. I was rather upset at myself that I had messed that up so badly just because I had not gone slow enough and read the pattern correctly. It has nothing to do with the pattern. The pattern is wonderful. It's perfect. It's written very well. It was just my fault for just being too excited and not going slow enough and missing that yarn over. Which is also funny, it's reminding me of when I was prepping and taking things like the SAT and the ACT, and I remember my mom always told me, slow down, read the problem before you continue on, otherwise you're probably gonna miss something. Because I would do that when I would like do the practice tests and stuff. And that still applies to knitting patterns, because you might miss something that's super important, then you'll spend all day ripping out and tinking and needless to say, once I got it, I was on the road to victory. Obviously, I have made a lot of progress, and I now know that there was a yarn over there that I didn't see before, and had I used the charted instructions, I probably wouldn't have had that problem. But no, I decided to use the written instructions, and because of that, I had a tale of woe story and a funny story to tell you all. So, on one hand, that's a good thing. And another good thing, it really tried my patience. Knitting is something that requires a lot of patience in general. Obviously, it's a very time-consuming thing. Is it a lot of fun? Yes, but it's still very time-consuming because you're knitting every single stitch. It requires so much patience, which sometimes that's hard. And I really had to be patient with my knitting. I had to be patient with myself, trying to figure out what the problem was, and also not being too hard on myself that I couldn't figure it out and not just giving up. Because at one point I was like, I don't know. I have no idea what's wrong. I feel like giving up because it's not fun right now. But thankfully I persevered and I figured out what the problem was, and now I'm really excited about it again. But moral of the story, go slow. Read your pattern all the way through. Moral of the story, just go slow and read your pattern all the way through. If there's charts, just look at the charts and see if they line up with the written instructions and see if you understand what all is going on, because it's very frustrating and I would not wish that upon anybody. So, tale of woe. It happened, you know, but I had a funny story to tell you guys, and it happens. It happens to the best of us. Just because you've been knitting for a long time doesn't mean that you are free of knitting mistakes, because they happen to everybody. They happen to literally everybody, regardless of your skill. It just happens. So, anyway, I'm very excited about this. I've been talking about this for a very long time now. It's Martimo by Kaylin Hunter. It's her newest, most recent pattern. I'm very excited about it, and I am hoping to make good progress on it in the near future. I'm thinking that this will be a good reading project, which is very exciting because I have gotten on a reading book kick lately again, so I'm very excited about that. Anyway, we have more to talk about, and it's almost at an hour, so we'll continue on very quickly. Okay. I'm now going to talk to you guys while I find something on my phone on Instagram, because I need this to show to you. But in recent episodes, you might remember me talking about the fact that my mom and I are going to be making the sorbet cardigan by someone who I don't think I can pronounce her name, but I also don't remember what it is exactly, so that's what I'm looking up right now. So, fun times. Our yarn came in, and my mom and I went on, here we go. So this is what it looks like. Ooh, glare. That's what it is, and there is her username on Instagram. So we really wanted it to look like this one. We just love the colors. We were super excited. Thankfully, the designer had put up the various colors and what some of them were on her Instagram story. And so we were able to find some of those in various locations, like from Stephen and Penelope. We were also able to find some of them from Loop in London. And other places we got drops, and then we also got some of the white from Webs. And all of our colors came in. And now I'm going to show you what they all look like together. And we have 2 skeins of each. I'm not going to show you all the skeins, because it will be a lot to hold up. Okay, I think that's all of them. Okay, so we start with the white, then we go to that one, then we go to the pink, and then we go to the purple. The light is not going to do this justice at all. But we're going to do our best. Oh, this is very hard to hold up. There we go. This is going to be so pretty. The camera's not picking it up. The camera's not doing it justice. I promise that, like, though this looks cute, it looks even cuter and more beautiful in person. Like, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, you guys. This is just so exciting. Here's another way. There we go. Okay. So it's going to start with the white, it's going to go to this beigey thing, then it's going to go to the gold, and to the pink, and to the purple. And like I said, you hold mohair double. Super exciting. This stuff is just so soft and very fuzzy. I think my cat will love this. But it's not for the cat, it's for me. The fuzz. But I knew that would happen. Without a doubt, it always happens. So I'm super excited. My mom has these same colors, but instead of the purple, she has a teal. I like the purple more, but that's just my personal preference, and I think that her teal looks gorgeous. We got to hang out yesterday, and so she was able to give me the yarn that she had, and I had yarn for her Martimo. So these 2 are drops. The Drops Kid Silk, and this is actually the same color that I used, that that I held double with the bomber jacket, which is very exciting. So if I happen to need extra, I do have a little bit left of that. These two are from Izagar. I don't know how to pronounce that, but it's from this company. And these two were the ones, this came from Loop, this came from Stephen and Penelope. So that's very exciting. This is color 62, this is color 63, if you're interested. I have never knit with this brand before, but I've seen lots of really amazing things about it, and so I'm super excited to get to experience it. And then also, we got this white from Webs. It's from Valley Fibers, Southampton. I've never heard of it, but it was just white mohair that was in the United States and also wasn't super expensive. So it all worked out. It was kind of a challenge to find all the colors that we wanted from all the various places. There we go. But we did it, and I think that my mom has started hers, and the colors look so pretty. I cannot even believe how pretty they look. They look gorgeous in the skeins, and I'm getting ready to sneeze, but they look even more gorgeous knit up. So, I don't know when exactly I will be casting this on. I will be casting this on soon. But maybe when I finish my, the Caitlin test knit. Because I really want to wear this. And my mom, hers looks so gorgeous. Sorry, my allergies are bad and I just sneezed, so my eyes are a little watery. But it's knit on a size 7, I believe, and it just goes super quickly. It looks very like easy. It just seems very soothing and methodical and just really nice to knit. So I'm very excited about this. I hope to cast it on in the near future because I'm just so excited to wear it. We've been wanting to make this for a really long time. So, very quickly, before we go, because I don't want this episode to be too long, like I said, I've been on a reading book kick lately. I literally just finished this morning a book. If you are a historical fiction person or a historical, just in general person, you will probably enjoy this book. I finished, and now I can't remember the author's name, but it'll be linked in the show notes, the Goodreads page. It's called The Romanov Sisters, and it's an extended title, I believe, but I don't remember what it is. It was super good. It was basically the story of the Romanovs and how they began and how they ended, and it was very sad, but also like super well written. I'm fascinated with that, with the Romanovs and just all that kind of stuff. I think it is so fascinating with Rasputin and just all that jazz. The book was very well written. I listened to it. The read was really good. I got it from the library, so that's also super awesome. I would highly recommend it. So I will link that in the show notes if you want to go check that out. Then I started a book called Victoria by Daisy Goodwin, and I've heard nothing but good things about this book, and I'm already an hour and a half in, and I'm very impressed. It's another audiobook, and the reader is British, and she's doing such a wonderful job. So it's very pleasant, and it's very nice. I really enjoy just reading historical books like that, and being able to tie everything together, how families are connected, because obviously Victoria was connected to Alexandria and the Romanovs, and then I'm reading another book about Anne Boleyn and like how all that is connected, and that's just like a tiny sliver of all the things that happened and how things are connected and things that you can learn about and read about, and I love it. I'm so glad that I have the online library access to that, because if not, I don't know what I would do. It would be very sad. But anyway, so that is my book recommendation to share with you. If you're interested in the Romanovs, Russian history, or just historical learningness in general, I would highly recommend this book. I also am going to be baking something later this afternoon, hopefully. I don't know. It's currently like 1:15, so I don't know. Maybe? I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. But I would like to do that, and it is a quick bread. It is a cinnamon-y quick bread type thing, loaf. Good descriptive words there. I think that is the title of the recipe. I don't remember where I got it, but it'll be linked in the show notes. So I actually haven't tried it yet, but if you're interested in something like that, I'll link it, and then hopefully next week I will let you guys know what I thought, because it looks good. It's one of those ones where you put batter, filling, and filling is just cinnamon sugar, and then you do the little swirly thing. So then when you cut it open, it looks really pretty, and I enjoy stuff like that. Sounds like a good tea time snack. So, can't go wrong with those. No, you cannot. So I think that is it for this week. Like always, and like I said at the beginning of the episode, if you would like to follow me on any of my social medias, or if you like to see what I am currently reading, there's Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and Ravelry, and Goodreads, if you would like to do that. I'm most active on Instagram, so definitely go follow me over there. If you would like to see any of the links to the things that I've talked about in this episode, the link to my blog will be down below if you're on YouTube, or if you're on my blog, everything will be down below. So no worries there, you have all access to that. If you are a returning viewer, thanks so much for coming back and spending some time with me. I really appreciate it. And if you are a new viewer, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope you have had a wonderful weekend, and I hope you continue to have a wonderful week. That's very odd to say. It's just I'm not used to it yet. If you have crafty plans, I hope they are successful. I have crafty plans just because I'm going to work tomorrow, and my job is a crafty place, and I just love that so much. So that's super exciting, and I hope to get a lot done on all my projects this week. Maybe even cast something new on. Maybe there'll be a cast on sorbet cardigan next week. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. Maybe not. No promises. We'll see. So that's exciting. So again, as a reminder, just because this is new, episodes go up on Wednesday, and opposed to the Saturday that they have been going up. So I'm recording on a Tuesday. It's still very odd, but that's okay. I hope that you are staying cool wherever you are. I know this has been an incredibly hot summer for most of us, and it's been very humid and not very pleasant. But I hope you're staying cool. I hope you are still enjoying your knitting, even though it might be woolly and making you hot. Such is life. Such is the life of the knitter. But we power through it because we just love the craft so much that we can't not knit, despite the weather. So that's how I feel about it anyway. But I think that's all that I have for you guys this week. So I'll see you guys next week. Bye!